All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here. Mark P Markets. Thank you for joining me for another Bitcoin video analysis. Today is Monday. What is it? The 20th of May. And we're going to go over this Bitcoin situation. And we're going to go over a few other things, right? So welcome. If you're new to the stream, let me know. Let me explain to you how it works. So first, I'm going to go through the economic calendar very quickly, like we do every week. Then we're going to go over the Bitcoin analysis, okay, which you see on the chart here. In fact, let me cover this up. Wrong chart. Let's go to this chart here, right? Because we're only going to look at one chart in the beginning. We're going to go over the Bitcoin chart situation, and then we're going to see what kind of setups we're looking at on a few time frames with the TradeScanner Pro. Okay, so with that, let's get started. First, let me show this. This is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. All right, I am streaming on Twitter and on Rumble as well. Okay, if you're watching me in one of those other platforms, if you have a question, please come over to YouTube, because that's where I can see all of the content, all of the questions and stuff, the chat. All right. Also, just hello to a few people. We got Alex, we got Stian. Good to see you, Nader. Armin, Nader, I sent Stian your feedback, so he read your feedback. In fact, he's going to answer you right there. Yeah, he saw it, and he had an explanation for every section that you shared. So that was very good. Thank you for that feedback, by the way. That was very valuable feedback, and good to hear such detailed feedback of the TradeScanner Pro. Okay, so. Hey, Christos from Brussels. All right, we got all of our Belgium people here. All right, so first things first, before I get into the economic calendar, just want to mention a couple of things. Okay, check the links in the description if you're interested in trying out the TradeScanner Pro, which is the script which we'll be talking about here momentarily. There's a link in the description. Also, I'll put a link in the channel here when I get into that section of the stream. Okay, but you can check out the link there, and you can do your 14-day free trial. You can sign up there. I'll show you how to do that soon. Just keep in mind, if you sign up today, please allow me a few hours to send you the invite. We're not automated yet in that area. We're working on it, but so it takes me some time to send you the invite. Okay, so please just be patient with that. You will get the invite the same day. Usually I can get it out in a few hours. All right, so also, you'll notice there are some affiliate links, right, for MEXC, Bybit, and you also see one for TradingView. All right, those are Stian's affiliate links. Please, if you want to help him out, he gets a small commission every time you place a trade. If you fund an account and you place a trade, he gets a small cut. Also, if you pay for the premium version of TradingView, he will also get a cut. Plus, you save $15. The advantage to doing something like that, by the way, is with TradeScanner Pro, you get more flexibility. Okay, you could use the free version of TradingView, but there are some limitations. Like, for example, the notifications. One of the things that Stian had pointed out to me was that he gets real-time notifications, okay? And other people have also mentioned that as well, while I have others telling me that the notifications take an hour or two to show up. Chances are those are free. I suspect those are free users. Nader, are you a free TradingView user? I'm just curious. I have to confirm this with TradingView. I have not done that yet, but I will, to find out why some people get notifications in real time while others do not. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to mention that. Also, check out our Discord community. All right, there's a link in the description there as well. We have a nice, very active community chat that's free. A lot of interesting information that goes through there. Alex does a great job moderating that chat. And we have other resources in there as well. And if you want to sample the TradeScanner by email, you can sign up for the free trade of the week. It's the same strategy that the script is based on, except it's a bot that sends you an email every week, okay? And the markets rotate. One week it's Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency. Another week it's Forex. Another week it's stocks, okay? So anyway, you can check that out. Those are in the description. And if you like my video, please press the like button. Please press the subscribe button, because that helps me with the channel as well. All right, next, let's get into the economic calendar. I'm just going to mention it very quickly. It's a very light week in terms of economic news. So we have tomorrow, which is 21st, Tuesday, we have New Zealand, Bank of New Zealand interest rate decision. Okay, so that's not a global market mover. If you have a Kiwi cross of some kind, maybe it'll affect your pair if you have a Forex pair like that. So be aware of that. But usually the Bank of New Zealand does not move the global markets. All right, so I wouldn't worry about that. But that's one of the items that stood out on the list. The other item this week is on Wednesday, which is what, the 22nd. And we have the FOMC meeting minutes. That usually comes out at like 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Double check on the time. But that's the meeting minutes of the previous FOMC meeting, right? And sometimes there are surprises baked into those minutes somewhere that the market realizes, and you can get a jump of some kind. That's mostly important for intraday traders. Not really that important if you're a swing trader or you're looking at larger time frames. Usually it'll spike prices, for a few minutes intraday. So just wanted to mention that. Otherwise, there's really nothing else worth mentioning on the economic calendar. That's why I go over it. There's a bunch of items. If you look at the more important, if you filter out your economic calendar, doesn't matter which one you use, there are usually lots of items on there. And if you're new, it could be confusing, like which one's important, which one isn't important. Most of them are not important. All right. FOMC meetings, non-farm payrolls, CPI reports, PPI, things like that, retail sales, those are important. Otherwise, everything else is usually not that important. And it's usually the US numbers that carry all the weight. Okay, that's just the way it is. All right, anyway, that's the economic calendar. Let's move along to the next segment, shall we? So if you have questions, let me know, and we'll go through this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the chart bigger here. All right, because you don't need to see my pretty face the whole time. And for those of you that have been following my TradingView articles, this one got selected, by the way. TradingView sent me a message. They selected this as one of their picks, which was nice of them. And I've been writing about this over the previous few weeks, starting here, right? I changed my chart up a little bit, but I basically, this leg, right, and this leg, this pullback leg, right, this pullback up into this next leg, I had this illustrated on my chart. If you go back 3 weeks, you will see that was the scenario I was anticipating. I was anticipating that to unfold over 1 week, but it took 2 weeks. Now, the market doesn't always follow what I think it's going to do. That's just one scenario out of many scenarios that I believe, my personal opinion, has a higher probability. In this case, it worked out really nicely, right? And people get mesmerized by that, and they think like some kind of magical thing is happening. There is no magic here. That was one scenario out of countless scenarios that I suspected. And the key that pointed that out to me really was this level right here, right? The 60K, because I see this type of pattern all the time. You break the support, you recover quickly, and it retests the support. That's what prompted me to anticipate this type of move. Okay. That was basically the move that I was anticipating, the pop up, the pullback, and then from there, right, the next leg higher. And that's where I drew this arrow, and I actually called the trade on my TradingView article. I described this trade setup. Okay. Now, since then, I've been talking about 64K as a potential profit taking point, and I talked about 68K. Okay. These areas here, and they're based on, that's what these arrows are. That's what this arrow is right here. Okay. It's based on this previous resistance, which is a minor resistance. It was a minor support turning minor resistance. That's what this represents right here. So we tested the area, right? And as you can see, there was some selling attempts, but when the market's very strong, it rejects those quickly, right? And that's what we had here taking place yesterday when I was writing my article and describing this new leg. This is my illustration for this week, right? I anticipated a pullback to 64K, which was here in this area right here. And as you can see, the market, this was what the market was doing when I wrote the article right here. And I saw, okay, we're pulling back a bit, but I was not looking for any type of major pullback. Why? Because old support becomes new resistance, right? Or old resistance, which was this, becomes new support. And I suspected this area right here would be the high probability area to look for buy signals. That's the point. I don't know if the market will pull back to here. And that's the thing that's where a lot of beginners go wrong. They are trying to forecast the future. I don't do that because I know better. And all these people out there that tell you that they know the future, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you. And if you're ignorant enough to believe them, that's on you, right? So I know better. And I suspected that it's a big if. If the market pulls back to 64K, I have an opportunity. All right. There's a high probability opportunity. And when I say high probability, like I wrote in the article, I assume that to mean that there's a greater than 50% chance the outcome will be positive to some degree. I don't know how far the market will move. Okay. So this was a high probability support area, and it still is, but we never tested it. So instead, we just got this, we got this change right here, and here we are now pushing into the 69K area. So we never really had the pullback, and we're just going for 70K. All right. This is the next resistance zone. And as you can see, my illustration, right, we're so far following the roadmap, right? The Bitcoin is following what I suspected, just not from where I suspected it would go first, right? So what do? Was I wrong? No, we adjust, right? I don't make money being right. I make money managing risk and listening to the market. That is how I make money. I don't make money being right. I'm wrong probably 50% of the time. Okay, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, but I'm wrong a lot. Right? It's not about being right. All these people that are obsessed with being right, you're just wasting your time. The market is highly random. Once that sinks in, you will realize, oh, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about maximizing your winner when you have one and minimizing a losing trade when you're stuck in one of those. Okay, that's really the whole key to the whole thing that people just don't want to hear. Right? Because there's nothing magical about it. People want to hear magic. They want to hear romance. They want to hear that they're going to be a billionaire tomorrow. Buy these coins now before you miss out. That's what people respond to. And that's why I have no one following me, because I don't peddle that nonsense. Okay, anyway. So as far as where we're going now, don't get me started on a rant because I'll rant for hours. So we're going here, right? We're pushing into this resistance. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think this area right here, up that we're pushing into, do you think that this is a attractive place for a long? What do you guys think? Do you think we should be looking for more longs on this time frame, on this daily time frame, or a larger time frame like a 4-hour chart? Do you think that this is a good place for longs? Let's see what the chat has to say. What do you guys have to say about that? I'm going to let you guys think about that while I adjust my microphone over here. Okay. So no, Christo says, nope. You guys are saying no, no longs. Okay, cool. You guys are on the same page. Well, all of you have been following me for a while, so you know the answer. I don't have it. You always get the new guy who comes in, hey, it's going to 100K. I don't see that guy here. Okay, cool. So you guys are on the same page. This is a low probability location for longs. Now, on this time frame, okay, yes, that's right, Christos. This is a take profit location. So this is not a place to assume risk. This is a place to reduce risk. If you long from lower prices, great place to take money off the table. I wasn't even suspecting it would get up here so quickly. Okay, so going to 100K, right? So no, he's joking. He's been a follower for a while too. So this is the place to take money off the table. Only the ignorant, only the people that follow, TikTokers are the ones that buy at places like this. Now, if you're a day trader, that's another story. You can buy anywhere as a day trader because you're looking for small bites. This type of momentum that we're seeing here is beautiful for day trades. And we're going to look at them when we get to the trade scanner portion of the stream. Okay, so my point here is we basically went from our support, the 60K support, which I wrote about 3 weeks ago. Here we are at the resistance. In fact, the trade scanner, I'll show you real quick on this time frame. Look at the trade scanner. This is what the Trade Scanner Pro called, right? It called the long here. When we had that push from 56K to 64K, it called a long. And that was a pretty rough place for longs because it pulled back first to 60K. So you had to take like 4,000 points of risk. But the trade scanner told you what your risk was. The trade scanner says the risk was here. It never went anywhere near that stop, but that was a lot of risk. I mean, what is that price? 56,423 was where the trade scanner placed the stop. So that's 8,000 points from the entry. Like, man, that's way too much, right? So, this is on the daily time frame. So, of course, if you were going to take such a trade, you would go small, right? You would do like a 16th of a coin, or whatever. Like, you can't take a lot of leverage because this if you get stopped out on something like this and this thing stops out, stop outs are common, right? If this thing stops out, that's a lot of risk. Okay. Well, in fact, when I wrote my article, I defined the risk over here at the bottom of this candle, right? Not where the trade scanner was calling it. The trade scanner calculates things in a specific way where I'm more likely to use candle structures. Okay. But that's going to be a personal preference. The programming that we put into the trade scanner was a way that it's a routine way to define risk, and it's a mathematical way. So if you're a beginner, it's ideal because it reduces a lot of the confusion, right? So anyway, this has been a beautiful move, right? Even on this time frame, and we're still, the take profit on this thing is 72K, right? Which I still have a hard time believing it's going to get there, but hey, what do I know, right? That's what this thing called based on recent price action. That's where those numbers are generated from. Now, this thing, the trailing stop, I don't think I have the trailing stop on this thing. I don't even have the trailing stop. Let me turn the trailing stop on. Look where the trailing stop is. See that? The trailing stop is at break even. So if you took this trade on the daily time frame, this is theoretically a risk-free trade because all of this money here is all profit, right? So if this turns around and stops out, your account is not less than where you started. Does that make sense? So anyway, this is a really cool tool for something like this. So if you are in something like this and you've locked in some profit along the way, which is a good idea, you lock in some profit anyway if you're in from a lower price, and then you let some ride. And now you have the trailing stop, which will follow this thing until the trailing stop is touched. So if this thing decides randomly to break 72K and go to 80K, it's possible that the trailing stop will follow it up there if it doesn't pull back far enough to touch the trailing stop. Does that make sense? We're going to go over smaller time frames, but this is a perfect example of how you use this on a larger time frame. And you can use this on any market, not just on Bitcoin. So the point is this: the whole world comes out and makes a forecast. We're going to go to 100K. We're going to go to 80K. The trade scanner says 72K. Okay. The thing is, we don't know. And if you pretend to know, all you do is start to get contained by limited beliefs. You can't do that with the market. You have to have an open mind. The market can do whatever it wants. There's no way to know. I can't tell you that there's a 80% probability that this thing's going to go to 80K. I have no clue. I could say there's a greater than 50% chance simply because the trend has been bullish and the trend has never changed. This was just a pullback, right? We had a consolidation higher low, which I explained in my article, and the trend is still generally bullish. So in a bullish trend, resistances tend to break, supports tend to hold. It just has to find a support. It found its support just below 60K. Then 60K was a pretty significant level. And here we are about to push 70K, right? We're in the vicinity. So it may break, it may go higher, it may not. I don't pretend to know. All I do is manage risk. And the Trade Scanner Pro helps you do just that. So in this situation, this trade went from 8,000 points of risk to 0 points of risk. Okay. So that's your reference point, and then you adjust your size based on that. If 8,000 points of risk is too much for you, which is for a lot of people, I would not take 8,000 points of risk, but you simply contain that with your sizing. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going to go over all that here, but that makes sense. Using a theory, do you believe we are in a wave 4? Yes, it's very possible. Cool, Monica. Cool. Hey, Giovanni, good to see you guys. Monica, good to see you. X27, that's a good question. And you know what? So I'm going to turn this off right now. Let's turn the Trade Scanner off. As far as Elliott wave, as far as the wave counts, right? It's very possible. Let's zoom out here a bit. It's very possible that this consolidation that we've been watching since March, by the way, not to be all whatever, but I called this at the peak, right? I said the party's over. And I wrote it in some specific articles. If you look at my TradingView articles at that time, because I was counting this wave 5, right? And the wave 5 was tricky, but the party's been over since then and we've consolidated. I wasn't calling for a bear market. I was saying likely we consolidate. This is the consolidation. So to answer your question, it's very possible that this is a wave 4. And the way, because wave 4s typically look like this. Broader wave 4s typically look like that. So it's very possible that this is a wave 4, this entire section, and we are now breaking out into wave 5. Like basically this is, leg 1, leg 2. This is leg 3 we're in, right? And then we have a 4, and then who knows where 5 can go. If 5 extends, I mean, who knows, right? We could sit here and we can forecast all day long. It doesn't matter. The market is random mostly, and especially when you try to project larger time frames. But structurally, yes. If this is a wave 5, if that is true, then this 73K high is likely to get taken out. Okay, because wave 5 should make the higher high. That we can at least measure with some sort of, we can assign it some type of greater probability, because that's how markets work, right? That's market structure. All right, so good question. Inverse head and shoulders is playing out. Even the trade scanner knows it. Yeah. Well, that was another thing I noticed too with this section right here, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. But Giovanni, I don't put a lot of weight on those because we see that kind of stuff all the time. What really prompted me about this, and the arrow, I mean, I drew this arrow here 2 weeks ago, this arrow. What prompted me was the level and the trend. Those two components, I say it over and over again. People overcomplicate this game. You only need a couple of elements to evaluate. You don't need to be all on top of the news. You don't have to have 10 million oscillators on your chart. You don't need any of that. Less is more in this game. All I looked at was trend is bullish, support. That's it. Two components. And with that, I can at least assign a probability that the market is generally stronger. I should be looking for supports to hold. I should be looking for buy signals on my trade scanner. I should not be aggressively shorting. I should not be bearish. Okay, so if I'm feeling bearish for some reason, right, I have some kind of bias, then I should not trade because I'm going against the market, right? Now, as a day trader, it's another story. There's plenty of action on both sides as a day trader, but I'm talking bigger picture. And this is especially important if you're an investor, right? Because you don't want to be getting out at a wrong time. You don't want to be banging it out or getting squeezed out of your positions, right? Getting pushed out of your positions when this thing is pushing attractive levels to be long, at least for swing trades. This 56K is somewhat an attractive investment level, but it was very brief, as you can see, right? So it's hard to get in on something like that. That's why swing trades have more appeal, because you can be active in these markets based on these movements and these structures. But you have to understand the components so that you can arrive at some type of context that shapes your decision-making and expectations. Once you have that, you can then evaluate risk and decide if the risk is worthwhile or not. And then you can figure out how much you want to risk, right? That's where it all begins. But people are obsessed with being right. People are obsessed that, they don't want to miss out. Like, they're all on the emotional front. And that's one of the reasons why so many people have a hard time. But don't overcomplicate things, especially when it comes to technical analysis and charting. There's so much garbage out there pushed your way, and it looks appealing, but it's nonsense. If you just accept the idea that markets are mostly random, you will stop being fooled by these people that keep pushing this nonsense on you. Okay. Are we at 70K? Oh yeah, look at that. While I'm talking, 70K. Cool. All right. Anyway, so you guys have any questions about that? Cool. I appreciate that. I have been learning with others, and I appreciate that. Well, you know what, Monica? Yeah, I get this from people. Most of the people like you, Monica and Giovanni, and you have a little experience in the markets, right? So you may have gotten beaten up here and there. People that have gotten beaten up are the ones who appreciate me, because they've gotten beaten up because they they follow these fools, these clowns who just lie to you. They're just exploiting you, and they don't care what your outcome is. I do, because my reputation is on the line, right? I care about my reputation. I've been doing this for a long time. It's not like I'm going to switch to do something else like these other guys. They'll be selling shoes tomorrow if selling shoes is where all the money is, right? So anyway, but people get beat up a little bit, and then they realize, oh, this guy makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah, cool. But it takes a long time for people to realize that. When I speak to absolute beginners, they don't want to hear a word I say. They're like, this guy's boring. This guy says I'm going to be poor. I'm just telling you the reality of what I trust me. I know what the market will do to you. Okay. Hey, Isaac, how are you? Okay. We have to experience and recognize that you have a lot of experience. True. That's true. But, just from my perspective, it doesn't help me much when someone who comes out, they've been doing this like a year, right? Or they're an authority after a year or two of being in the markets, and they have 100,000 subscribers, and I can't even get 1,000. And meanwhile, the value that I provide, it's just real value is just not appreciated until you get beat up a little bit. And so a lot of people, after they get beat up, they just quit, right? So the clown takes advantage of them, and then they're out. That's the nature of this business. I can't change that, but I'm true to myself, and I'm just going to do what I do. I'm not going to sit here and change just because what I say isn't popular and it's not great for marketing. Okay. That's just the way it is. So anyway, all right. So any questions about that? I know I've been ranting about this. I want to get into the trade scanner, because with this kind of action, there's probably going to be some cool action on the trade scanner. Any questions? So while you guys are coming up with your questions, let me just show you real quick. If you're interested in the Trade Scanner Pro, I'm going to put the link here, right? Let me write the link in the chat. Okay. Well, just give me a second. This should be the link. I have to make sure I spell it right, because I can't see what I'm writing half the time. Okay. So that's the link. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. That's the link. Okay. That link, it's also in the description. It'll take you to this page. And on this page, it explains what the Trade Scanner Pro is, how it works. Okay. It's a trend following momentum reversal system. And this is where you can sign up for your 14-day free trial. I encourage you to try this out. It doesn't cost anything to try it. You can cancel any time before the 14 days. You will not be billed, but the prices aren't ridiculous either. Okay. If you pay for the yearly, you save 25%. It comes to $22.50 a month. You spend more money at the grocery store. Okay. That's another thing. I priced this to make it reasonable. And some people are like, well, I have to think about it. Spend more money on sandwiches. Anyway, to sign up for this, let me just show you real quick. You click on this button here, right? You have to click on subscribe now, and then you have to put your payment information, right? You go to this form over here. You have to make sure you put your information, and you have to make sure you put your TradingView username right in this field right here. You have to make sure you do that, because if you don't, I can't send you the invite. All right, so that's like the most important part. And then give me a few hours. I need a few hours to send you the invite, all right? Because we're not automated yet. So just please be patient with that. If you sign up while I'm streaming, give me a few hours and I'll have you in. I'll send you the invite and I'll send you a message saying that you have the invite. Okay, cool. Now, so let's get into the Trade Scanner Pro section of the stream, shall we? Look at this. So this is this. Oh man. So this is Bitcoin. If you notice here, this is Bitcoin, right? The perpetual futures on the MEXC exchange. It's a 1-minute chart. Now, when you don't need a paid version of TradingView to use this, you can use the free version. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, there are limitations. And one of the limitations is likely that the notifications are not in real time. So if you use notifications, like I encourage people to do, right? You can sit here and you could set up a notification like this, and you tell this thing, I want notifications. It'll tell you when there's a heads up. It'll tell you when there's a new signal. They'll tell you when you stop or your take profit is reached, and you tell TradingView how to notify you. A number of people get this in real time, as they should. Maybe it takes like a minute or something, but other people, it takes like an hour, which is not usable. So I suspect it's because they're on the free version of TradingView. So just please keep that in mind. Notifications are important, especially if you're going to be using this on larger time frames, like 15-minute, 30-minute and above, because you don't want to sit in front of your screen waiting for signals. All right, you want the market to have a signal pop up, and then it gets your attention, and then you work with it from there. All right, better use of your time. Now, so let me explain to you, again, I do this on every stream, but let me explain very quickly how TradeScanner Pro works. So the TradeScanner Pro is a trend following momentum reversal system. What that means is, first it looks for a trend. So let's say that's the bullish trend. It defines that, okay? The next thing it looks for is a pullback in that trend. It looks for a pullback. Once it identifies a pullback, it measures momentum right here at that point. Once it confirms that momentum is turning back on the side of the trend, which usually looks something like this, a signal will be generated. And a signal is composed of three prices. Okay, you have a stop loss, you have an entry price, and you have a take profit, like we saw earlier with the daily TradeScanner example that I showed you. This is what it does. Okay, now the stop loss and take profit are always going to be 1.5 times reward risk. That's the ratio that it's automatically set up, right? So whatever this amount is here from the stop to the entry, if that's $100, this is going to be $150. Okay, you can change that value. It says it right here, 1.5. If you notice, that's what that is, and you can change that in the settings to whatever you want. You could make it 1-to-1, you could make it 2-to-1, and it's going to move your take profit based on that ratio. Okay, now, but that's not the key thing here. The other thing I want to point out is this thing also has what's called counter trend mode, and I put that in there for more advanced traders. Counter trend means it looks for this over here, and it will call a signal based on this. Like, for example, right now, if I put this in counter trend mode, it'll be looking for a short in this situation because the trend is bullish. All right, so that's basically how the TradeScanner Pro works. You could use it on any market. You could use it on any time frame. But I have to say one important thing. You have to understand your market. You're not going to just pull this up on some inactive altcoin, which people like to do, and you're just going to make money in your favorite altcoin just because you like that coin. If it's a low volume, low momentum market, the TradeScanner is not going to help you. It's going to give you a lot of stop outs. You need momentum. It's a momentum-based system. Momentum requires volume. So you need a market that has decent volume. So anything that's popular, Litecoin, Ethereum, Polygon, DOT, you know what I'm talking about. Coins that are popular. What are some of the other ones that are in there? Link, right? Those have decent volume. But if you pick some new altcoin that just came out like a week ago and there's no volume in it, this thing's not going to help you. Same with stocks. You could pick any stock, but the stock needs to have a decent amount of volume. The stock needs momentum. So a stock like Apple, for example, would be a good choice because it moves, right? Stocks that move. But if it's some garbage 5-cent stock that barely moves, it's not going to help you. So understand your market, all right? Forex pairs, euro, pound, the dollar crosses will do okay because those are very thick markets, okay? Anyway, so I just wanted to mention that. Now, with that being said, let's take a look now at what's going on here signal-wise. These, as you can see here, these are previous signals on the chart. See that? Not all of them work out, but man, look at this one. I called a long here. Man, this is a 1-minute chart. Called a long right here. Well, I'm just curious. What does that long actually look like? We can go to a replay. Again, the replay is only available on these smaller time frames on the paid version of TradingView. If you decide you want to pay for TradingView, please use the link in the description because it helps Stian out and he would appreciate it very much. The guy is he's the one that made this thing possible. Okay, now let's see what this looked like. Before we look for real-time signals, this was a signal not too long ago here, a few minutes ago on Bitcoin, and let's just see what this thing looked like. Right? I'm just playing back bar by bar. As you can see, the trailing stop is now active, right? That's the trailing stop over here. Let's see where this thing goes. Like, does this thing follow this thing for a while or does it get stopped out? A lot of times the trailing stop gets tapped. See, like this, probably going to get tapped. Let's see. And Stian actually proposed a very good idea. he said, why don't we make a trailing stop setting where we can choose an aggressive trailing stop, a typical, an average trailing stop, or a conservative trailing stop, which means it'll change how quickly the trailing stop follows. I said, what a great idea. So he's going to work on that, and we will have an update to push. We've pushed some updates in recent weeks. He fixed this, for example, like this usually would close the trade, but now the trade stays open. But we're going to be able to control the aggressiveness of the trailing stop in our next update. So it pays to be a subscriber. Okay. By the way, when we push updates, to make sure that you have the most updated version of the TradeScanner Pro, what you should do, because it doesn't update automatically for you, you have to go here, remove the TradeScanner Pro by clicking on this X. See the X? Remove the TradeScanner Pro from your chart and then put it on again. So take it off, remove it, and then reinstall it on your chart, and then you'll have the updated version when we do updates. Some of you may have like older versions because you haven't done that. Okay, I updated like a week ago, something like that, a few days ago. If you check the script homepage on TradingView, you'll see the most recent update. All right, anyway, but look at this. All right, this was not too long ago. Now, how far? Let's see how far this goes before it touches the trailing stop. I mean, so just on the trade by itself, right, was 68,354, and it went to 546, and it went higher. It went a lot higher. So from 354, it went to 744. What is that, like 400 points in just a few minutes, right? That was a possible, look at this. Look at this. This is the value of this tool. Now look at this. So this trade now, because the trailing stop is now getting aggressive, as you can see, because as the market goes higher and higher, the trailing stop follows it faster and faster, right? As you can see, this is not only a risk-free trade, it's now a locked-in profit if you respect these orders. You have to respect the orders, okay? Look, let's see, when is this thing going to stop out? Okay, it stopped out. So it at least gave you the chance to maybe take something off up here, if you're more active. But if you were just going to let the trailing stop determine your exit, this is where you got out. Okay, at 567 is the close. Okay, so this thing got you in at, what was it? What was that entry price? I forgot the entry price on this candle. It was like 354 or something like that, and it gets you out up here. Nice trade, right? Anyway, nice trade. That was just a few minutes ago. So let's see where we are now. That trade was this one over here. Okay, on this 1 minute chart. See that? How cool is that? Okay. Boost the script on TradingView. Oh, Stian, yes. Stian says here, let me just put this up here. Boost the script on TradingView, and you will also get the notification when I push the update. That's important. Thank you, Stian, for the reminder. Yeah, that's very important. If you boost it, when I push an update, you'll be notified. So at least you'll know to remove your script and put it back on. Okay, I know it should be automatic. I know, but that's TradingView. We can't do anything about that. All right. Anyway, any questions? Let me know. So now let's start looking for real trades right now. I'm on a 1 minute chart and I am in trend mode. How do I know? Well, it says it right there. Okay, trend is bullish, and the trailing stop is active. Right. So when I go to my control panel, that's where you can see these things. So this bottom feature right here, that shows me the historical trades. If I turn this off, those trades on the chart, previous trades, turn off, right? But it's nice to be able to see them, especially when you want to review stuff. So we leave that on. By the way, when you get the script initially, all of these features are turned off. So you have to go in onto your settings and turn them on. Heads up. Heads up gives you orange candles in advance of a signal. It warns you that a signal is likely to show up soon. That's what heads up means, okay? You can turn that on and off. Trailing stop, that's self-explanatory. And then there's counter trend. So I just turned counter trend on, right? So now we're looking at all the counter trend signals. These are lower probability, as you can see. The trend is bullish, and this thing's calling shorts, and you don't want to get caught in that, right? So keep that in mind. When you're on the side of the bigger picture trend, which is bullish, even if we even go to like a 30-minute, a 1 hour, right? They're all going to be bullish. Let's go to a 1 hour, all right? You want to get context from your bigger picture. This is a 1 hour chart. Look at this. Okay, that's bullish. So when you're working on your smaller time frame, you know that counter trend is going to be tough. You want to switch to counter trend when you're at a specific resistance. Now 70K is a resistance level, so but not appropriate for a 1 minute time frame. You could experiment with it. Like obviously there was a little bit of a pullback here, but if you're going to do counter trend on a large time frame like that, look at your 30-minute chart. Okay, counter trend from there. There's no warning right now. There was some warning over here, but we never got a signal. See that? There was some warning over here. No signal. But if you're going to play counter trend, make sure you're at least at a level first, especially as a beginner. I wouldn't go be careful with it because they're low probability, right? The whole idea here is to put probability on your side. Counter trend is for advanced traders who understand context. All right, now, so I'm in counter trend mode right now. This signal really hasn't gone very far, right? But we shouldn't expect it to because the trend is very bullish. All right, now, what's going on here? Maybe I'll take a counter trend trade just for example purposes, but mind you, it's a bad time of day. Okay, we're going to the stock market close, and I'm going against a very strong trend. The probability, if I get another counter trend signal, is going to be low. Understand this going into it. Okay, so we'll see. The only reason why I'm going to take one is because I want to show you action. Here, let's turn this on over here. And then the idea will be to catch the next trend trade. Now you may say, well, isn't this a pullback? Why isn't there a trend? Why wasn't there a trend trade here? Well, because you have to go to a smaller time frame. It has not pulled back far enough. This is not far enough of a pullback on the 1 minute time frame. So in order for me to find that signal, I have to go to like a 30-second or a 15-second. Let's just take a quick look. If I go to a 30-second chart, okay, and I turn this off, counter trend off, go back into trend mode. Is there a signal there? There was almost, look, there was some warning, but I never got the signal. That's a 15-second. Let's go to that was a 30-second. Let's go to a 15-second. All right. Now, again, you have to have the premium version. Look, there's the signal. See that? That was the long. It was on a 15-second chart. And you may say, well, how am I supposed to know to check that? Well, it comes with experience. You should know that the trend is generally bullish, and the pullback on the 1 minute is not steep enough. You have to go to a smaller time frame. But if you have the free version of TradingView, you won't be able to do that. So please keep that in mind. Okay. You have to have the most expensive version to get those sub 1 minute time frames. If you're a beginner, I would not. There's no need for that. I would not recommend that. That's really for more advanced traders. Okay. Just relax in the beginning, learn how the system works, take high probability trades. All right, I'm going to take a low probability trade because I want you to see this thing in action. Maybe I'll be able to pull a few points out, based on the mean reverting nature of the market. Let's see. At this point, I had a little warning candle right here, but no signal. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take an early trade. I'll start a position early based on the warning, but that's really aggressive. You should not get in the habit of doing that. Like for example, if I took some early trades here, like maybe I put on one lot or something like that, I would have gotten knocked out here. I would have had to have taken that loss on one lot. I wouldn't keep putting more and more on. The idea is to put on one, and then when you get the signal, put on the second one. That's really where it becomes helpful. But again, that's very advanced. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to show you I'm going to show you, if I can just get a counter trend signal. Look, we're pulling back here. You know what? And I'm not going to short this thing now in the middle of a bullish trend. So here is where I'm going to switch to the 15-second chart for a bullish trade, right? So I'm going to take counter trend off. By the way, if I forget that counter trend is on, it says it right here. Counter trend is active. Okay, so I turn it off, turn off counter trend. Now, let's see. Look, I'm getting warnings for a long. Okay, and this is a bullish market. I'm willing to take an early contract in something that's strong. So let's buy one. Okay, so I bought one there. Again, there's a signal. Okay, so I'm going to buy a second one. Now, this is a 15-second chart. So realize that this thing can turn on me and go wrong very quickly. This is also a very small stop, relatively speaking. What is that? 69,499. What is that? So it's 69,500. And so it's 110 points, basically. This is roughly 110-point risk. Okay. And my take profit is at 69,773. So that's like, so it's like 110 points risk for like 130 points profit, approximately, something like that. Okay. Now look, the trailing stop is active. Keep in mind, this is a 15-second chart. The candles close every 15 seconds. It's extremely aggressive. Let's see if I can ride this out. Let's see if this thing continues on the bullish side. Now, again, the bigger picture is strong. So probability favors this thing to be bullish because of the context, not just because I feel like it's bullish. Okay. It comes from the context, and I could still be wrong. The pullback could be steeper. If we get to the take profit, I'll sell one. Okay. So let's see if we get to the green. We're almost there. There we go. Sold one. Okay. So I still have one. And now I'm going to let the trailing stop determine how I get out of the second one. This is an ideal trade. I'm showing it to you in real time. These things occur. They don't always occur this beautifully. But again, what was the key to this? The context. And I was looking for the counter trend trade, but I never got, there was no way I was going to get that counter trend signal. And on a pullback, I know there's a pullback, and this is a pullback system. So I go to a smaller time frame. There has to be a signal somewhere, right? So we got it. I got the warning and I got the signal. Beautiful. Let's see how far it goes. Now my risk is this is now a risk-free trade. Okay. Even if this thing pulls all the way back to my entry, which is very possible, I'm not giving anything back. Okay. This is the beauty of this. Now look, now this is risk-free plus something if I respect the trailing stop. You must respect the stops, especially the main one, because this is what protects you. Okay. If you don't respect the stop, especially on a small time frame, like this is a 70K area. If this thing pulls back, this thing could pull back to 65K. Right. And if I don't respect the stop, I'm like, it'll come back. It'll come back. Right. I'm taking 4,000, 5,000 points of risk. Meanwhile, I should only be taking 100 points of risk, not 4,000. Does that make sense? Again, I'm showing you ideal day trades here. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah. So certain times of the day, UTXO says market close coming up. I'm going to hold through the close. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm in a winning trade. I might as well. When you're in a winning trade, you have flexibility. And look what my trailing stop is. My trailing stop is almost at the take profit. Okay. So look at that. So even if it stops out there, I'm getting most of the trade. The whole point of the trailing stop is to see if the market wants to pay me more. I have a reference point now to just let it ride. Let it ride, as Seinfeld would say, right? So this thing, look, I'm now at the take profit. Let's see if the trailing stop keeps me in, right? It's nice to have this visual reference. I don't have to guess. But certain times of day, like I was saying, certain times of day, I have to get out of this thing. There we go. Okay, I'm getting out. I'm respecting the orders. So that was a nice little trade. How much was that worth? Let's see. So that was 155 plus 200, but $355. Not bad for a few minutes. All right, 2 contracts. I wasn't even playing around with any real size there. And I probably could have given this more of a chance, but I just want to show you an example of just respect the orders, right? I know this thing is strong, and I know that the trailing stop may have been a little aggressive, and that's where throttling the trailing stop may have been helpful in this situation, right? But anyway, that's a future update that's going to be in this thing soon. Now, but again, you saw I can't make this up. Okay, this is real-time market data you're watching here. So yeah, I keep missing this point. The point that UTXO is making here is certain times of day, there's certain types of erratic behaviors, right? Or like they say, like turning points. So you have the U.S. market open, for example, right? Usually you get volume coming into the market hard. You get some sort of reactive, some kind of erratic movement. It could be bullish, could be bearish. 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., right? 10:30 a.m., 11:30, right? That's usually what something happens there for some reason, right? 1:30, which is like the bond market close, I believe, right? And then you have 2:30. So these are just times of day that I notice where the NASDAQ has particular unusual erratic jumps, and the stock market close, 4 o'clock, which is one of them. And Bitcoin, also we see Bitcoin react in erratic ways as well. So this is just something you learn from experience, right? I can't really trade on that information. It may be in my benefit. It may not be. It's random. So just something to keep in mind, that you can get an erratic movement at that time, right? There's some sort of seasonality on the hourly basis, I guess you can call it. All right, so this thing is just still doing its thing, going higher, right? I'm still in trend mode. I mean, look, this thing, I never had to get out of that, but whatever, it'll pull back. I'm on a 15-second chart. Pullbacks are very common. But for now, we'll go back to our 1 minute, okay? And this is, the 1 minute never gave a signal. This was the signal I took on the 15-second chart. How cool is that? Okay, there was no signal on the 1 minute. We're about to push these highs. I wouldn't be surprised if we squeeze through here. Based on the 4 o'clock close, we're almost there. We probably get the squeeze. You know, we get the vertical candle. Well, that's aggressive. Steen says we should look for shorts. Okay, so let's put the counter trend on and let's see what we get. So I'm in counter trend mode. I don't even have a warning here yet. So, but this is, if this is going to be a short, this would be the area to consider it, right? If I'm going to short something that's strong, I definitely don't want to do it here. Man, I got out early, but the trailing stop got me out. That's going to happen. So let's see what happens. Nice. So Ethereum, they're all pushing for whatever reason. Okay, cool. So I'm watching this thing, and let's see if we get a counter trend trade. I'm not shorting this, that's for sure. I don't want to get in this thing's way. But we cleared that resistance. We blew right through it. Okay, blew right through this right here. And these, basically what happens is you have these shorts, that short here, they get squeezed. That's what it looks like. All right. So you following me so far? Any questions about this? I mean, I can't think of a cooler way, an easier way to get involved in something like this at a price like this with so much of the work done for you. Okay, look, we're getting our warning candle. Let's let the candle close. Oh, let's let that close. All right, this is a 1 minute chart, so it may take a minute there. Let it give it a minute. And I'm going to take my early. This is aggressive. This is going to be a low probability trade, but I'm going to try it. Let's see if we can do something with this. All right. How much time do we have for this thing to close? Well, we have like 30 seconds, man. We have a while. You realize this candle can still close green. So I'll give it till 45 seconds, and then I'll take one. What I'm showing you here is very advanced. You realize the concepts that I'm showing you here can be applied. I just took one short based on the warning. You can apply these concepts to larger time frames. I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't day trade. I can't sit around all day waiting for these things. I understand. You can apply these concepts on larger time frames, like a 15-minute, a 30-minute, a 1 hour. You can do that. You would set notifications and stuff like that, okay? But it helps to understand context. Why would I short this? Because we're at a pretty significant resistance level. What's the high there? 71.45. That's a pretty significant level. So there is some potential counter trend movement here. Perhaps we pull back into this area right here. I took one on the warning. There's no signal yet. Okay. Now, if I go to a 30-second, this probably is signal. Let's see. Nope. Okay. There it is. I was going to say, if one is going to show up, so I'll short it, a second one on the 30-second signal. Now, this is super aggressive, and there's a good chance it will not work because I'm fighting that bigger picture trend, and there's a lot of momentum here. But I'm going to give it a try. I shorted a second one. On something like this, my expectations are going to be lower. This might be a good time to change my reward risk to maybe 1-to-1 instead of 1.5-to-1. If I switch it to 1-to-1, my exit order would be like placed over here somewhere. Okay. Because it's 1-to-1 reward risk. Whatever my risk is, that's where it puts the reward, the same amount. So let's see if we get the next sell leg, because that's what should happen next. We should see a selling leg, not a buying leg. And if we see the buying leg, I'm just going to blow this thing right out because I'm not getting caught in this thing. All right. The idea is, again, we don't know the future. We're just playing with the risk and probabilities. I know that this is a low probability trade going into it. If this thing gives me a hard time, I'm just going to get out of it because I'm going against some pretty strong momentum here. All right. But if I could squeeze out 50 points, like something like this, maybe 100 points, oh, that's a cool little trade. I'll take it. So let's see. And I'll probably do all in, all out. I'm not gonna scale these out. I'm just gonna blow it out. Okay. Hey, cool, Vareker from Qatar. Nice. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you want to share what city or what country you're from, it's always a fun fact. That's usually something I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. I'm streaming from the greater New York City area. Okay, northern New Jersey. That's why I talk funny and I look funny. Okay. Okay. Nice move here. So again, let's see. I'm up a little bit on this because this is aggressive. I'm taking one off early. I'm not even gonna give this thing a chance to reverse on me. I took one off. Okay. Now I'm going to hold the second one and see if I can get something out of this. I covered one because I know this is a low probability trade. I barely gave it any. You could say, oh, you could have given it to here or something. No, because this thing is super aggressive. Understand that these longs, and especially these shorts that got short, they're all looking to buy this thing on the pullback. So as soon as there's trouble, I need to get out of this thing because I'm on the low probability side. Again, that comes with experience. So what I'm showing you here is pretty advanced, and you have to be very nimble. You can't get stuck on ideas. All right. So the trailing stop should be appearing soon if this thing stays my way. Now realize, in such a strong market, we can get a candle, especially on a 30-second chart, that looks like that. That can easily show up in the next couple of minutes. And I'm aware of that. Okay. So let's see. But what I'm hoping what we get is we just get that little push back into here, which we're getting. And if we go to the take profit, I won't even give the trailing stop a chance. I'll just take the money because why? It's a low probability trade. So the market wants to pay, take it. Right. Yeah. You can't be, that's right. You cannot be emotional. You cannot get caught up in any hope you have to realize the probability and you cannot hesitate. You have to be out. This thing gives you a hard time, out. Right? Like see how it's slowly, see how like the momentum is not great here. It may pick up, but just as quickly we can get a sharp green candle, and I know it can come out of nowhere. Right? So I have my finger on the button to get out. Okay, nice. Okay, wants to go to take profit. Okay, let's see if it wants to go a little further. Want to do a little further? It's up to the market. Okay, the market tells me what to do. Hey, Eduardo's from Lithuania. Welcome. Good to see you. All right, you're watching me take some profit here on this trade. By the way, this is on paper. For those of you that may be just tuning in, oh, is this a real trade? No, it's not real. It's on paper. Okay, I'm not going to put real money at risk at this time of day on Bitcoin futures. I know better, but it's nice to see what's possible on paper. All right, if you're going to day trade Bitcoin, you should be doing it at more active times, like the stock market open, 2 p.m. Eastern time, those kind of times when Bitcoin is more active based on stock market, because it follows. There's a relationship there. Okay, see that candle? If it gives me a hard time here, I'm getting out. It went to the take profit, and I'm still in it because I'm trying to give the momentum a little bit of a chance here. These are 30-second candles, so one green candle may not really mean anything. So I'm not going to overreact, but I'm prepared to dump this thing. My risk is almost at break even, right? So I have a few choices here. I can say, I'm going to get out now and take whatever I can, take the most profit if that's all the market's going to offer. I can give it more of a chance and say, if it goes here, I get out, which my risk is now very limited. And keep in mind, I locked in one. So this is all just profit, right? So I may give back something, but the whole point is I'm willing to risk this profit for more profit. Okay, now look, now I'm beyond break even. See this? So this is a risk-free trade. If I want to be aggressive, I can say, all right, well, I'll give back. If I'm wrong, I give back my profit, but I locked in on one, so the trade is still green. Or I could say, you know what? I don't like the way this thing's behaving. I'm getting out of this thing. But I'm going to give the market a little bit of a chance. Let's see how the next couple of candles form. If I get a push like above this little lower high right here, I'll just blow this thing out. I'll just take whatever I can. Because again, I'm on the wrong side of the market, right? I'm short when this market is super strong, right? But we got a little pullback here. So maybe what happened is, you got shorts got squeezed. Okay. A bunch of longs bought the breakout. And this is what happens to breakout traders. This is why I'm not a big fan of breakouts, especially on large time frames, because you get caught. You get caught in something, and then the market just, this is what the market does to you. Okay? So, but the market's still strong. This is not a weak market, and this is not turning bearish. This is just a pullback. And I should be looking for trend trades, but I'm in counter trend mode. So that's why I'm not. If I was in trend mode, there may be a trend, there may be a trade developing here. One feature that Steen is going to put in also in the next update or soon is you'll be able to turn off the current trade. Like, let's say I wanted trend mode, right? But I wanted this trade to be closed so I could look for another trade. He's going to set something like that up. Am I right, Steen, about that, or am I confused? Because sometimes what happens is the trade on the chart stays on there, and you want to like reset it basically, so that you can start over again, so you can get a new signal. Because sometimes you get like double signals. You know, there may have been a long signal right here, and another long signal shows up over here, right? So they're like on top of each other. He's going to fix that. It was to keep the current trade open if a new, oh, that's it. So the opposite of what I said. Okay, I'm getting a little impatient here with this price action, but let's see what happens. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a chance. Okay, I like the fact that it's respecting this little minor resistance here. And we're fooling around a take profit line. So I really shouldn't be in a hurry to get out. Okay, my trailing stop has also advanced nicely. So as long as I respect the orders. So, right, so Steen is saying that when the, so he's gonna put a filter in there to prevent the double trades from popping up. Right? He's talking about the repaint. Right? You have a trade, and then a new one opens, and then it changes like your risk from the old. It's close, but it changes. It's annoying. He's gonna fix that. That was some nice feedback from I think Nader also. That was part of his feedback. Okay, good question, Giovanni. I'll explain that. Okay, so. Conflict, what conflict means, you'll notice is it says conflict up here. Okay, see that? Conflict, Giovanni asks. So conflict is when the trend is bullish, right? But the momentum is bearish in that bullish trend. Same on the, if this thing was bearish, but the momentum was bullish, you would get conflict, because conflict basically tells us that the trend, this trend may be in progress of changing. That's what conflict means. It's like a heads up that the trend may be in transition, because the way this thing is set, there's no way to pick the exact turning point of a trend. The trend has to confirm. And sometimes when the trend transitions from bullish to bearish or bullish to neutral, you'll get this counter trend price action first. And you're like, but the trend is bullish, right? And then this can get you into trouble if you start buying into this early, because trust me, I've been there. I'm like, the trend is bullish, so I'm buying this, I'm buying this, I'm buying this, and then it collapses. And that's what conflict helps us to recognize, that, you know, the trend may be in transition, so don't be aggressively buying this. That's what that means. Now, it may, you know, the conflict can go away once the trend resumes, but that's, so it's like an early warning. It doesn't mean that the trend will transition. It means that it may be transitioning. Like this trend on this time frame, again, this refers to the time frame that it's on, may be transitioning. This may turn bearish, okay, the trend on this time frame. But the larger time frames, it's going to take a while for them to turn bearish. This thing will have to pull back dramatically for this thing for them to turn bearish. So in that type of situation, if this trend turns bearish, right, my 30-second turns bearish, but my 5-minute is bullish, then I want to be looking for a counter trend on my small time frame that's bearish, because I want bullish trades that align with the bigger picture. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Does that make sense? Now, that's a good question. You know, soon, Giovanni, I'm going to come up with video, like training videos for my TradeScanner Pro people. It's going to take me a little while to make them, but I'm going to make some specific videos that are just like tutorials specifically on what these things mean and the functionality and all those kind of things. And as a TradeScanner Pro member, you'll be able to access these videos, you know, at your convenience, and you'll be able to learn some of these basic things. They'll be short videos, like 5-minute videos. I'm still in this trade, by the way. I'm just watching. The market wants to continue to pay. Let it pay. Let it pay. Okay. Look where my take profit is. I mean, sorry, my trailing stop. See, the beauty of this is if this market just completely gives up, right, here on this time frame, and we start pushing to test these old supports, the trailing stop will just continue to follow it. And in those situations, now it's rare, but I've seen occasions where the trailing stop will follow this thing to an 8-to-1 reward risk. 8-to-1. Think about that. Okay. So for every dollar you risked, you make 8. That's huge. I never make that by just doing it without all of this. I never make 8-to-1. Okay. But having a reference like this keeps me in the trade like I'm doing now. At some point, this is going to get tapped out, probably in the next bar or two. But hey, why not give it a chance until it gets tapped out? Right? That's one of the great value propositions of the TradeScanner Pro. And this is especially valuable for a beginner. It's amazing to me how beginners do not appreciate this because you have to calculate this stuff manually, right? This takes all that off your hand. It takes the burden of all of that away from you. And all you have to do is follow the orders, respect the orders, and let the market do its thing. It embraces the fact that the market is random. This thing isn't forecasting anything, right? It's helping you manage your expectations and manage your decision making in a random environment. All right. So anyway, let's see how far this thing goes. If it wants to go farther, great. If not, I'll get out. I'll let the trailing stop get tapped. All right. Any questions? That was a good question, Giovanni. Any questions? Oh, there we go. Let it turn it off. The trade has to close, and I'll get out. I'm up $500 on this trade. Not bad. And I made money on the bullish side of this too. They don't all work out this way, by the way. And these are big contracts. These are big futures contracts. Okay. Like if you have a small account, these numbers are not going to be realistic. Okay. But anyway, like for something like that, if you're throwing around, how much is this thing? 138. And look, this thing's like a few hundred points in my favor, and it just keeps going. These futures contracts, you have to have a decent sized account. Like you can't be doing this with $1,000. You wipe out your account in 2 seconds. You need to have, a couple of thousand at least, and you have to be careful with the leverage. Also, there was a question about cost. You have to be aware of your cost. You can't have dozens of trades. You won't make any money because the cost is very high. But if you only have, with the TradeScanner Pro, even with 30-second charts or 1-minute charts, you really shouldn't have more than 3, 4, 5 trades a day max. You shouldn't have a dozen trades. That's too much. Okay, there are a lot of signals, but the idea is you capitalize on a few and you turn it off. If you're green, you turn it off. Okay, we're gonna get knocked out now. There we go. Goodbye. That was a nice run. Okay, so I'm not going to get the best price. I'm not going to get this, but it kept me in for all of this. Now, there's probably a long signal here. Let's go. Let's turn off counter trend mode because remember, this market's still bullish. Oh, look, there we go. Long signal. Okay. I mean, should I take one? Let's see how much time I got. No, you know what? I had a pretty decent day. I'm not going to give it back. Let's see. So that one, I made what, 150 on the first contract, and the second contract 448. So you do the math, okay? And that doesn't include the other 2 trades where I was on a 3. So it was like $700 or $800 or something like that in just a span of 30 minutes. We've been watching this. So again, that would require a larger account, but even with a smaller account, you can just do a fraction of the size, especially if you're working in the spot market. Okay. Now keep in mind, this is a 30-second chart. Let's go back to the 1 minute. If you're using the free version of TradingView, this is the smallest time frame you're going to be able to see is a 1 minute. We got some warning over here, right? The trend is still bullish. So this is a warning that a bullish signal may appear in the next few candles, okay? And by the way, your notifications will tell you about these warnings also if you have the real-time notifications. All right, so that was a pretty good demonstration. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? So if you want to sign up for the Trade Scanner Pro and you want to do the 14-day free trial, you simply go here. I'm going to put the link is on the screen, right? That link that I'm sharing on the screen there. It takes you to this page, all right? It takes you to this page. It explains what it is, and then you go here, okay? And you sign up for 14 days, free. You will not be billed unless you wait the full 14 days. If you cancel before then, which is very easy to do, you log into your user dashboard, or if it's something like PayPal, you just log into your PayPal account and you cancel your subscription. It's very easy to do. I have had no problems with people trying to figure out how to cancel, okay? It's very easy. You don't get billed, but if you like it, you can pay $22.50 a month. It comes to like $270 for the year. These prices are introductory prices, by the way. They're gonna go up. So if you lock these in now, you're getting yourself a low price. Okay, the monthly is $30 a month, and I have to say, like, and again, I'm not trying to shame people, but if $30 a month is too much for you, you're in the wrong game. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I know people have bills. I know times are tough, and I understand that, and that's why I price these things this low. I mean, there are clowns out there that are charging $1,500 or $1,200 one-time payment, and it's for a garbage system that doesn't even work, right? $30 a month, that's like my grocery bill, and I'm very conservative with my groceries. My grocery bill is like double that, okay? Like really, groceries. So people pay, people cancel your Netflix subscription, right? Netflix doesn't make you money. It just wastes your time if you really think about it. This is something that can help you if you learn how to use the tool. It doesn't take decades to learn this. This is decades of experience that has been put into code that to reduce your learning curve, all you need to understand to use it most effectively is really context, right? And it doesn't take long to learn the basic concepts. You just need to know trend and support and resistance levels. Those are if you want to learn anything about markets and you want to use your time most efficiently, just focus on those two components. I'll say them again: trend and support and resistance levels. You use that in conjunction with a system like this, and you've gone from struggling to, wow, I'm now on the same level as people with years of experience. Okay, so please keep that in mind. I hope to see you on the free trial. We do have a special, we have like chat rooms set up for my Trade Scanner Pro people. They're not I'm working on some more of the permissions for that. That's coming, but there's going to be more features as well besides the script. Right, that's what this stuff describes over here. That stuff is coming, but the script, obviously the tool itself is the most important thing. Okay, so if you sign up for it, if you sign up for it today, allow me, again, I have to repeat this because it's amazing. People just don't listen. Allow me a few hours to send you the invite. Okay, we're working on the automation. Soon it'll send you get it quicker, but right now, just please be patient. Allow me a couple of hours and I will have the invite sent to you. Okay, cool. So do I have any other questions before I wrap this up? Questions, comments? It's cool to see some of my Trade Scanner Pro people here. If you have any other questions, again, you can find me in the Discord community. Keep in mind, I don't send messages to you first, but if you send them to me first, I'm happy to respond. If you get a message from me first, most likely it's an impersonator. Block them and report them, please. It's a scammer, okay? And I would never ask you for money in a private message about anything. If I'm asking you for money, I'm pointing you to this, okay? Nothing else. All right, anyway, so that's it, people. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you got something out of it. You know where to find me if you have questions. All right, so I want to say this. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world, and thank you very much for watching.